It's early 2023. A 30-year-old woman posts, a completely mundane video on social media about accidentally over-laminating her eyebrows.
Right, just totally everyday content.
Exactly. It's the kind of throwaway content that usually just disappears into the digital void in like an hour. But instead, within 48 hours, that single video generates over 1 billion views.
1 billion views for eyebrows.
Right. It spawns these 1,000-word conspiracy theories, it dictates global trending topics, and most bizarrely, it resurrects the ghosts of a teenage romance that officially ended half a decade ago.
It's honestly wild.
It really is. I mean, how does a teenage romance outlive a marriage, haunt the internet, and command the obsessive, almost militant loyalty of millions? On paper, they were framed as the ultimate modern fairy tale. But in reality, their union was a collision of two entirely different celebrity manufacturing engines, creating a toxic spectacle that pop culture simply refuses to let go of. As always, I'm Frances Lake.
And I'm Cameron Summer.
And we are thrilled you could join us today. This is Once Upon a Tabloid, the show where we explore iconic celebrity relationships whose legacies lived on long after the spark ended. And this week, we're going deep on Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber.
Such a massive topic.
Oh, absolutely. And just a reminder, as always, our listeners determine who we cover, so if there's an iconic couple you'd like us to explore next, let us know in the comments.
We really need to dissect this phenomenon today, not just as tabloid fodder, but as a defining cultural moment. I mean, this relationship is ground zero for understanding how celebrity romance is consumed, weaponized, and monetized in the modern internet era.
Yeah, the internet era changed everything.
Completely. We're going to map out how these two completely different worlds collided, the extreme psychological pressures they faced, and why the algorithmic battleground of the internet literally won't allow this story to end.
So to really grasp the magnitude of this pairing, we have to look at where they came from in the late 2000s. And honestly, their origins look less like a romance and more like, a corporate merger between two rival tech companies running on entirely different operating systems.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Right. You have Selena Gomez, who is essentially Apple. Like, she was a product of the highly disciplined, closed, controlled, and curated incubator of the Disney Channel.
Yeah, that's an incredibly accurate way to frame it. As the star of Wizards of Waverly Place, Selena was, she was the linchpin of an Emmy-winning machine. Her rise to fame was very traditional, meticulously calculated, and completely scandal-free.
Total clean slate.
Exactly. She was transitioning into pop music via Hollywood Records, which was Disney's in-house label. So to the industry, she was a known entity. She was a trusted brand ambassador whose image was fiercely protected by, an absolute army of publicists and executives.
Which brings us to the other operating system. If Selena was Apple, Justin Bieber was open source.
Oh, completely.
He was the vanguard of the crowdsourced Web 2.0 internet sensation, discovered on YouTube by Scooter Braun. His rise completely bypassed all the traditional Hollywood gatekeepers.
Yeah, he didn't need him.
Right, and because of that, his fan base wasn't built through carefully scheduled cable TV programming. It was built on direct, raw, unmediated access. It triggered Bieber fever, sweeping the globe in a way we really hadn't seen since, Beatlemania?
But because he didn't come through that traditional studio system, he was initially pretty polarizing to the mainstream media. Critics didn't know what to do with a kid who was famous just because the internet said so.
Yeah, they were baffled.
Totally. And that origin fundamentally shaped the power dynamics when they finally met in 2009. I mean, Selena was 17 and Justin was 15.
Such a big difference at that age.
Right, and because of that age gap, and likely her Disney media training, Selena initially adopted this very protective maternal role.
Oh, yeah, she totally deflected the romance rumors at first. I remember she went on national television and literally called him her little brother.
Which was a brilliant rhetorical strategy to protect her wholesome image, right?
Yeah.
But beneath that media deflection, the leverage imbalance was staggering. Selena had the prestige and the industry respect, sure, but Justin possessed peaking, all-consuming commercial power.
And a really intense fan base.
Exactly. With that unprecedented power came a deeply aggressive, mobilized fan base.
Wait, I have to push back on that a bit, though. I mean, Selena had the backing of the entire Disney conglomerate, which is a massive corporate apparatus. Wasn't Justin basically just a teenager with a YouTube channel and a single manager at that point? How did he have the leverage in that dynamic?
Well, you're touching on the fundamental shift of the era there. Corporate backing provides stability, sure, but rabid, grassroots fan loyalty provides unmatched cultural leverage.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, we have to talk about the concept of parasocial relationships here.
Yeah.
So a parasocial relationship is a one-sided psychological bond where a fan feels they intimately, personally know a celebrity.
Like they're actual friends.
Right. Because Justin built his fame by talking directly to a camera in his bedroom, his fans didn't just like his music. They felt a sense of ownership over him. When you have an army of millions who feel they personally own your success, that is a kind of leverage no corporate studio can artificially manufacture.
Wow. Which makes the fallout so much more terrifying, really. Imagine you're 17 years old, you open your phone, and there are literally thousands of coordinated death threats from strangers pouring in every single minute, just because you went on a date.
It's horrifying.
It is. That's the reality Selena walked into once they went public. She was forced into the role of being the stabilizing, grounding presence for a massive global superstar, while simultaneously absorbing the rage of his fiercely territorial fans.
And here's the irony of that organic grassroots fan rage.
Yeah.
The relationship itself didn't start organically at all.
Yay, really?
No, it was highly orchestrated by the very industry machines that built them. Scooter Braun actually picked up the phone and called Selena's mom, Mandy Teefey, who was her manager at the time.
He literally called her mom.
Yeah. He initiated contact simply because Justin kept calling Selena his celebrity crush in interviews.
That is wild. It's crazy to think about managers setting up like a calculated playdate that ultimately spirals into a decade-long saga. But you see those early milestones play out exactly as a publicist would dream. Like December 2009, Justin serenades her on Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with one less lonely girl.
So highly produced.
Right, and then they strategically play the Just Friends card for an entire year.
Yeah, they maintained that until January 2011, when the paparazzi captured them kissing on a private yacht in St. Lucia. That was the undeniable proof that forced the narrative to shift.
And the media framing just went into absolute overdrive. Mainstream media loved it at first because it sold magazines. They painted them as this aspirational, wholesome Romeo and Juliet of pop.
Oh, the fairy tale language.
Exactly. Yeah. Think about their official red carpet debut in February 2011 at the Vanity Fair Oscar party. They wore coordinating black tie attire. It was picture perfect.
It was visually perfect, yeah. But the structural foundations were super weak. The narrative quickly fractured. You mix extreme exhaustion, relentless paparazzi presence, and an estimated 8 distinct breakups and reconciliations over the years. 8. Yeah, 8.
Mm-hmm.
And the tabloids inevitably rebranded this fairy tale into a doomed and toxic loop.
Which makes sense from a media perspective, right? Like, a fairy tale is a great story once. A toxic, on-again, off-again drama provides endless content. And there was a defining media moment that cemented this new dynamic. March 2013, Selena goes on David Letterman.
Oh, this is iconic.
Right. Letterman is joking around, mentioning a previous interview where he made Justin cry. And Selena, totally deadpan, quips, "Well, then that makes 2 of us."
Yes, that moment was an absolute masterclass in shifting public perception. She literally got a fist bump from David Letterman on national television for that line.
A fist bump from a late-night institution. It completely secured this media frame. Like, Selena was suddenly the mature, triumphant survivor who had outgrown the nonsense, and Justin was framed as the petulant, emotionally fragile youth.
Hey, Francis.
Yeah, Cam.
So Demi and I were at dinner with 2 other couples the other day, and this debate came up around household chores.
Oh, man, don't even get me started.
You know, it's funny. There was a very clear pattern that emerged.
Let me guess. The women do more and have to carry the mental burden of keeping track of everything that needs to get done. And I bet they're tired of feeling like they have to nag and remind their partner to do things around the house.
Wow. Yep, that's pretty much it. But it's funny. Our friends Lauren and Patrick mentioned this app they started using that's basically like household chores meets fantasy football.
Wow. Not a combination I've heard before.
Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting. You and your partner alternate picking which tasks you own, like a draft. And you kind of like negotiate how often things need to get done and how much effort they take.
Okay.
And then you get reminders and points for doing them. Oh, and you can propose trades. It honestly seemed pretty fun.
Honestly, I wanted to hate this idea, but the truth is, everyone always feels like they're doing more than the other person. And this seems like it could actually help fix that.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun, lighthearted way to make sure things get done and that they're fair.
Huh. You've piqued my curiosity. Send me the link. I'll definitely try it out.
All right, it's called House League. Check it out.
But grand public gestures are usually, a Band-Aid for foundational cracks. When the honeymoon phase wore off, how did two teenagers actually handle the unprecedented pressure of their reality?
Well, mostly by oscillating between sweeping cinematic romance and suffocating stress. The grand gestures were genuinely movie-level, though. In September 2011, after a Demi Lovato concert, Justin sneaks Selena through an underground service tunnel directly into the Staples Center.
Okay, that's intense.
The entire 20,000-seat arena is empty. He set up a candlelit table for two on the floor, catered steak and pasta from the Lexus Club, and screened the movie Titanic on the massive Jumbotron.
Wow. Inspired by the Adam Sandler movie Mr. Deeds, no less. But the wildest detail about that night, the arena comped the entire evening for him.
They gave it to him for free.
Yes, simply because he had sold out the venue 3 times prior. That detail perfectly illustrates the sheer mind-bending gravity of his fame at that moment. He lived in a reality where normal rules just didn't apply.
But the flip side of a reality without normal rules is a complete lack of normal protections. Just 2 months after that Staples Center date, they faced the Mariah Yeaters scandal.
Oh, right, I remember that.
Yeah, a 19-year-old woman falsely claimed that a 16-year-old Justin fathered her child after a concert. She actually filed a paternity suit.
Which is an incredibly dark, heavy legal and public relations crisis for a teenager to navigate. Bieber vehemently denied it. He offered to take a DNA test, and the lawsuit was eventually dropped when it was exposed as a fabricated scheme to sell her story to the tabloids.
Just awful.
Yeah, but think about the psychological toll. Throughout that deeply stressful ordeal, Selena stood firmly by his side. She attended the American Music Awards with him right as the scandal was peaking.
Right. That loyalty, however, was tested constantly by the relentless media scrutiny. And by 2014, the pressure was really boiling over. Justin is in Miami for a highly combative legal deposition regarding an alleged assault by his bodyguard on a photographer. The opposing lawyer strategically tries to rattle him by asking about Selena.
And it works. Justin completely snapped. He covers his face, shakes his finger, and barks, "Don't ask me about her," again 6 times in a row. He even mocks the lawyer, calling him Katie Couric. He's visibly enraged, pacing, just completely losing his composure.
But look at the immediate behavioral response to that public meltdown. The very next thing he does is fly straight to McAllen, Texas, to reunite with Selena.
Really? Just straight there?
Straight there. They spent 2 hours in a private, choreographed dance session to John Legend's Ordinary People at Action Dance Studio. Whenever the public pressure became too acute, they constantly retreated into shared, isolated, creative spaces to escape.
But they couldn't stay in that dance studio forever, right? And when they were apart, they developed this fascinating, highly public communication method. Because they were both global pop stars, they literally used Top 40 radio as their personal text message thread.
Oh, absolutely.
They didn't just break up in private, they dropped lyrical puzzle pieces into the culture for millions of fans to dissect.
It was a brilliant, if, emotionally exhausting way to process their dynamic. Justin confirmed that his hit, What Do You Mean, was directly about their emotional volatility. And his song Sorry was a massive global plea for forgiveness, which, in a strange twist of industry incestuousness, was actually co-written by Selena's close friend, Julia Michaels.
Wow, small world. And Selena's response was just as public, but far more visceral. The Heart Wants What It Wants opened with a literal recording of her crying in a voicemail.
I remember that. It was so raw.
She was in tears performing it live at the AMAs. She even admitted she showed Justin the music video before it released, and he was initially jealous of the actor in it. You really get a sense of the deep codependency there. They were using the Billboard charts to have the conversations they couldn't have in a therapist's office.
It forces us to ask, what happens when you can no longer contain that level of chaos within the confines of pop songs?
It explodes.
Yeah, the downward spiral truly accelerated in the summer of 2016. It moved from the radio charts to a massive nuclear digital confrontation. Justin had started casually dating Sophia Richie, and his fans, still rabidly protective of the Jelena narrative, flooded his Instagram with abusive comments and snake emojis.
So Justin responds by threatening to make his Instagram private. He posts telling his fans, "If you guys were really fans, you wouldn't be so mean to people that I like." And then in a move that honestly broke the internet, Selena actually intervenes in the public comments section.
Oh man, the comment.
Yeah, she writes, "If you can't handle the hate, then stop posting pictures of your girlfriend, lol. Don't be mad at your fans, they love you."
That single comment triggered a devastating, messy fallout. Justin replies, accusing Selena of using him for attention. Selena retaliates by pointing out his multiple infidelities over the years.
Just kept escalating.
It did. Justin then fires back, accusing her of cheating with Zayn Malik. The entire exchange culminated in Justin completely deleting his Instagram account. He erased an audience of 77 million followers overnight.
Overnight. It's hard to overstate how massive that was in 2016. It was the ultimate digital mic drop. But even after all that public humiliation and accusation, they still couldn't cut the cord. In late 2017, they attempt one final reunion. This is following Selena's life-saving kidney transplant and her split from The Weeknd. They are photographed riding bikes together, going to church, just looking genuinely peaceful.
Yeah, the problem was, while they may have been willing to forgive each other, their support systems were not. The familial strain this final reunion caused was severe. Selena's mother, Mandy Teefey, was actually hospitalized following a heated argument when she learned the two were in couples therapy.
Oh, that is so heavy.
It really is. Her family had watched the psychological toll the relationship took on her for years, and they simply couldn't accept him back into her life.
I can't imagine the weight of that. Being forced to make an ultimatum between the person you love and the health and approval of your own family. Ultimately, the cost was just too high. Selena walked away for the final time in March 2018. Hey, Cam, do you and Demi ever get into a fight where it just seems like you're talking past each
Oh,
other?
absolutely. You and Michael?
Not anymore, actually. We started using Good Talk, and it has been incredible. Basically, when we're in a tiff, each of us individually chats with Good Talk, but it has the context of both of our conversations.
Oh, wow, I see. So it kind of guides each of you
Toward a more productive conversation when we do talk to each other. Exactly.
Very cool. Love that.
Anyway, to any of our listeners who find themselves in similar situations with their partners, definitely check it out. It's at www.goodtalk.club.
And the timeline following that final split is, well, it's a study in emotional whiplash. By June 2018, just roughly 3 months after ending a decade-long defining romance with Selena, Justin reunites with Hailey Baldwin. By July, they are officially engaged.
Wow.
And by September, they are married in a New York City courthouse.
The speed of that transition had a devastating impact. You don't just erase 10 years of codependency in a matter of weeks. The toll it took on Selena culminated in an October 2018 mental health crisis and what a close friend described as a psychotic break leading to her hospitalization. We aren't just talking about tabloid drama here. We are talking about a severe human breaking point broadcast to the entire world.
Yeah, and you can see the agonizing reality of that toll in her documentary, My Mind to Me. She was fighting to establish her own identity outside of this relationship, but the industry wouldn't let her. There's a particularly grueling moment where she breaks down crying during tour rehearsals because her label head had just casually asked her to record another song with Justin.
Yeah, and through tears, she asks a question that just breaks your heart. She questions when she will ever be good enough by myself.
That intense pain and that desperate desire for individual identity ultimately served as the catalyst for her definitive closure anthem, Lose You to Love Me. She wrote the song in just 45 minutes with Julia Michaels and Justin Tranter.
Just 45 minutes.
Yeah, it was a profound artistic catharsis about having to lose every single part of herself just to rediscover who she actually was.
It's a beautiful song. And honestly, it should have been the final chapter. So why are we still talking about Jelena today? If they have both clearly moved on, why did a video about eyebrow lamination in 2023 cause a global meltdown?
Because the legacy of this relationship isn't really about Justin and Selena anymore. It's about the birth of a new, highly monetized strain of toxic fandom. This relationship transitioned pop culture from standard, passive tabloid reading into active, coordinated online warfare.
It became a team sport.
Exactly. Fandoms learned how to weaponize themselves, resulting in coordinated harassment campaigns, racism against associates, and incredibly elaborate, obsessive conspiracy theories.
It turned into an algorithmic war. And we have to talk about how the architecture of platforms like TikTok specifically fuels this. The algorithm doesn't care if you're leaving a hate comment or a love comment, right? It only measures engagement. Rage is an incredibly sticky emotion.
It really is.
So a fight between the Team Selena camp and the Team Hailey camp is practically a goldmine for a platform's time on-site metrics. To give you the scale of this, content tagged with Team Selena hit 1.7 billion views, while Team Hailey garnered 152 million views.
People are out there dissecting accidental eyebrow laminations, coincidental restaurant visits, and background audio from years ago. The algorithm rewards and amplifies this division because it keeps users scrolling scrolling.
They just can't look away.
Right. The relationship lives on, not because the actual humans involved can't let go. I mean, Selena and Haley literally took a smiling photograph together in late 2022 to explicitly prove there is zero animosity between them.
Yeah, they tried to kill the narrative.
They did. But it lives on because pop culture, the social media algorithms, and parasocial fan bases absolutely refuse to let the narrative die.
It's like we've collectively decided we own their past, which leaves you with a lingering thought to mull over. If a relationship is played out entirely for the public, does the public eventually feel entitled to the copyright of that relationship? How much of the Jelena phenomenon is actually about Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez, and how much of it is just a reflection of our own obsession with teenage nostalgia, digital drama, and our inability to let things end?
I think you're hitting on the core tension there. It has become a mirror, reflecting our own digital behaviors and our desire for perpetual conflict right back at us.
Exactly. Well, if there's an iconic couple you want us to go dupe on next time, leave it in the comments.